Dumbarton Oaks is a Harvard University research institute, library, museum, and garden. It is the legacy of Robert and Mildred Bliss, who were collectors of art and patrons of learning in the humanities. Since 1940, when they gifted the estate and collections to Harvard University, Dumbarton Oaks has supported Byzantine, Pre-Columbian, and garden studies. The historic garden was created by Mildred Bliss in close collaboration with the landscape designer Beatrix Ferrand. In 2014, National Geographic designated it as one of the 10 best gardens in the world. The museum houses world-class collections of Byzantine and Pre-Columbian art, as well as a collection of European decorative arts and paintings, and a small collection of Asian art. It is on land that was part of a 1702 land grant, and it has had several owners. The first house was built in 1801. It partially survives within this current structure shown here. So this is Robert and Mildred Bliss in 1927. He was a Foreign Service officer and diplomat, and he and his wife Mildred acquired the house in 1920 and expanded the property to 54 acres. Over the years, they redesigned the house, added outbuildings and the garden. Robert died in 1962 and Mildred in 1969. So this is a 1935 map of Dumbarton Oaks. It was commissioned by the Blisses. It was created by Ernest Clegg. He's a British cartographer and graphic artist. So as shown in this Google map image on the left, Dumbarton Oaks is located at the intersection of 32nd and R Streets in the Georgetown neighborhood of Washington, D.C. The red dot on the left side of the image shows the museum entrance on 32nd Street, and the one in the lower center indicates the garden entrance on R Street. The image on the right is a topographical map of the property showing the buildings in gray, and the contour lines indicate that the area is really quite hilly. There's a significant amount of relief. So the museum is free, and this is the entrance located on 32nd Street. And when you enter, you're greeted by this amazing ancient Roman mosaic floor. This is the only place that I know of where you can actually walk on a floor like this. There are more Roman mosaics in the hallway, but not on the floor. The one on the right is 4th century Roman from Turkey. So when you enter the museum hallway beyond the entrance, you just encounter some interesting random pieces, like this Mexican sandstone sculpture from 1300, showing a female deity emerging from the mouth of a serpent. And this late 18th century ceramic and iron stove, which likely comes from Central Europe. And this portrait of Mary of Burgundy from about 1520 by the artist Bernard Strigel. So the hall leads us to a Renaissance-style music room. It was created about 1928, and it's shown in pink here on the plat. This is a plat or a map of the museum galleries. So the next 3 slides show you views of the room, which is mainly furnished with pieces from the European Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque periods. So some specific examples. This is a fireplace. It has a 16th century French limestone chimney piece. And there's that graphic again, shown, in the center there of the property. This is a Flemish tapestry from 1470, showing the Prince of Malice and his court. It's of wood and silk, wool and silk. And a Flemish tapestry from about the same period called Woman in Court Dress, and this is wool and linen. And the top of this photo is a German tapestry, same period, depicting the Legend of the Cross. It's wool on linen. Beneath that is a German wooden sculpture from 1521 of the Virgin and Child on the crescent moon. And it is displayed on a 15th century Italian bookcase cabinet, which is inlaid with walnut. And this is what the room looked like when the Blisses lived here. So next we're going to look at the Byzantine collection, which is mainly housed in the gallery shown here in pink. And I should mention that the two adjacent galleries, which are shown in green, were not open when I visited, and they usually have items on display as well. So this is a map of the Byzantine Empire. It replaced the many gods of Rome with the one god of Christianity. Its capital, today Istanbul, was established in 333 by Constantine I, and also called Constantine the Great. The empire, which lasted for over 1,000 years, ended in 1453 when the Ottoman Turks conquered the city. So this is a beautiful 12th century marble and stone floor panel. Its style is called opus sectile, which means technique of cutting. The technique involves inlaying cut colored stone to create a geometric design. So this is a gallery view in the Byzantine Gallery. And these are silver and gilded silver objects that might be found on a 6th century Byzantine Christian church altar. And these are examples of illuminated texts. They're of tempera, gold leaf, and ink, and they're on parchment. Not sure of the exact date of these. They're probably 11th or 12th century. So this is a 17th century post-Byzantine piece of the 40 Martyrs of Sebastian. It's of tempera and gilding on wood, and it depicts a scene in the 4th century of Christianized Roman soldiers condemned to death because they would not give up their faith. So on the left here is a gallery view, looking the other way in the gallery, and on the right is a 6th century carved limestone doorway fragment from Egypt. So this is called the Roman season sarcophagus. It's from 330, it's Roman. The imagery shows nature's cycle of death and renewal. The ring around the two central figures contains the zodiac and signifies the resting place of souls. So here's 3 pairs of earrings. The 2 pairs on the left date from the 10th century, and the pair on the right is even older, dating from the 7th century. And these are early Byzantine gold cross pendants from the 7th century. This is a time when crosses first became a significant form of personal endowment. And here's some more early Byzantine silver artifacts, all dating to the mid-6th century. And this is a gold pendant containing a medallion of Constantine I. It's 4th century late Roman. Significantly, Dumbarton Oaks houses one of the largest and most comprehensive collections of Byzantine seals and coins in the world. On the left here is an 11th century marble carving showing the Mother of God. This particular type of image is called a Hagiosoritisa. She would have been placed opposite an image of St. John, as the Byzantines believed that among the saints, those two were most effective for interceding with Christ. On the right, from the same period, about 11th century, is a lockable casket of wood. It's covered with bone plaques. And here's 2 views of a bust of a Roman man. I don't have, unfortunately, any more details on this. So next we're going to go over to the Pre-Columbian gallery. And it's shown here on the plat in pink. This is an exceptionally beautiful architectural feature. It's designed by architect Philip Johnson and completed in 1963. You can see from this footprint that it has 8 circular rooms surrounding a central area. which contains an outdoor fountain, which is visible from all the rooms. So in the hallway leading to the gallery, you're again able to walk on a beautiful Roman mosaic floor, shown on the left in the photo. And on the photo on the right is a map showing important cultural centers of the pre-Columbian world. And you can see the strong emphasis on Mexico and Peru. When the Spanish arrived in the Americas, they encountered the magnificent cities of the Aztec and the Inca. But these empires were only the latest in a long history of complex and advanced societies that had developed in the America over many hundreds of years. So on the left here is the view as you enter the first circular room of the gallery. And the photo on the right shows the central fountain feature, which is visible from all the rooms. Robert Bliss accumulated the pre-Columbian collection over a period of 50 years. He was guided by a strong personal aesthetic and also the advice of scholars. So on the left is the Aztec god of night and war, and on the right is an Aztec fire serpent, and these are from about 1500. In Aztec mythology, fire serpents were thought to carry the sun on its journey across the sky each day to bring light to the world. The large figure on the right here is of silver, and the smaller ones are of gold. And these are Incan. They come from Peru. They're made about 1500. And this is a spear thrower called an atlatl. It's a device used by many ancient cultures worldwide that effectively extends the arm of the user, making it possible to propel a spear with great force. So on the left is the whole device, made of wood, and on the right is a detail of the carving. And this is from the Mixtec culture of Mexico. The date ranges between 900 and 1500. So the case on the left, which is a little hard to see, is full of Mixtec jewelry, and most of it's made of gold. But the skull necklace on the right is made of shell. These masks are much older. They're carved in stone. They're as early as 200 by the ancient culture based at Teotihuacan in Mexico. And this is called the Net Jaguar mural. It's from an apartment wall in Teotihuacan and it's dated about 600. And on the center right there, you can kind of see a jaguar figure. And these are ceramics from Teotihuacan, same period, maybe as early as 250 to 600 in age. So these objects are all related to the ancient Mesoamerican ball game, which was played with a heavy, solid rubber ball. The sculpted stones on the left may have been worn by players in rituals, or they may have been ball court markers. On the right are ceremonial stone yokes, and these represent actual protective waist guards which were worn by the players. The actual guards were probably made of materials such as leather, textiles, and cotton padding. And this is the oldest artifact we've seen so far. It's a jade figure from the Olmec culture of Mexico, and it's dated as old as 900 BCE. According to Robert Bliss, this particular item, which he acquired in 1914, was what sparked his interest in pre-Columbian art. And here's a front and side view of a painted ceramic Mayan figure, also from Mexico, dated between 650 and 800. Such figures were included in burials, but they also function as whistles. And these are a couple of Mayan limestone panels from 700. They depict various, two different rulers. And these are carved or engraved Mayan bowls, and they're made from stone, like onyx or travertine. And this is a gallery view with Mayan artifacts. So the photo on the left shows a Mayan ceramic, what's called a polychrome jar, along with incised jade plaques and beads. And the jar on the right depicts a fox making an offering to a god. So these are gold artifacts from Central America, about 700. On the left are gold discs, which would have been attached to clothing, and on the right is a bird pendant. And these are ceramic marine bird vessels from about 1000. They're from Peru's north coast. And these are gold objects from a Chimu grave in Peru. Chimu artifacts have a date range of 900 to 1470. And this is a Chimu silver disc, and it has marine imagery. So these ceramics are from the Moche culture in Peru. Their time range is 100 to 800. And these gold and turquoise artifacts are from elite burials in the Lambaque culture of northern Peru, and they are dated around 1000. And more gold objects, but these are much older. They're as early as 400 BCE. They're from the Chavín culture in Peru, so they're maybe like 1400 years older than the items in the previous slide. The designs depict supernatural creatures. And these ceramics are from the Nazca culture of Peru. They're the culture that made the Nazca lines, which you can see from the air. And these date around 400. And mosaics from yet another culture called the Wari, also in Peru, and their date range is 750 to 1000. And the ceramic female figure from a Chanque culture grave, also in Peru, has a date range of 1000 to 1450. So last but not least is the garden at Dumbarton Oaks. This is the entrance gate, which is on R Street, northwest, around the corner from the museum entrance. So while the museum is free, garden entry is $15, and the ticket must be purchased online. So besides supporting Byzantine and Pre-Columbian studies, Dumbarton Oaks is also a center for garden studies. And their historic garden was created by Mildred Bliss, as I mentioned earlier, in close collaboration with landscape designer Beatrix Ferrand, and this is the cover of their publication. There's a garden library that houses a collection of rare and modern books related to all aspects of the history of gardens. So before looking at the 16-acre formal garden, I want to mention that adjacent to the Dumbarton Oaks property is Dumbarton Oaks Park. It's a 27-acre natural woodland that was also designed by Ferrand. It was meant to complement the formal gardens and create a unified design where one can view the woodland of the park from the upper formal gardens. The Blisses gave this portion of their garden to the National Park Service in 1940 and is now part of Rock Creek Park. So the design of the formal garden features separate terraced garden areas, which they refer to as rooms. They're connected by paths and stairways, and the garden incorporates traditional elements such as a swimming pool and kitchen gardens, with influence from English and Italian styles. This shows the entrance to the rose garden, which is one of the garden highlights. And here's another view of the rose garden. So this is the lower terrace. It has a bench, and the bench is looking out at two pools. But before looking at the pools, we're going to look at a couple slides of the plants in that area. just so you can get an idea of the plantings. So here's the pool that you would see on your right if you were sitting on that bench. And this is the matching pool on the left. And it faces a gate. And the gate opens into another lovely area with a central bird bath. And this is another view. And this view is looking back at the area with the two pools. And here's a detail of the ironwork on the gate. So next you come up, there's this beautiful little alcove. And there's a lot of these throughout the garden. I don't have photos of all of them. There's a fountain there. And it looks like, you know, it was being worked on at the time. So exiting that area through this pathway. And here's yet another alcove where you can sit. And there's this beautiful terrace where you could view the tops of the pear trees. It overlooks the orchard and the kitchen garden area. But before you get down there, we're going to another lower tourist area, and this has a large pool. It's not a swimming pool, just a pool. There's another view. And coming around, you're looking out toward the kitchen garden area. But there's this beautiful trellised walkway with grapevines. And another view on the left at the exit, and looking at the grapevines on the right. And now you come to the kitchen garden level. And it's another part of it. So along one of the paths, there's a small pavilion to acknowledge those who were enslaved on this property from 1703 to 1862. Although it focuses on the specific period from 1805 to 1823, when the Beverly family owned the property. So here's another area. It's nearby that pavilion. It's a fountain with a pool, and there's benches around it. And one of the beautiful paths, this one leading toward the house, and one of our beautiful butterflies on the right. And this is a gate to the back side of the house. And this door is probably my favorite spot in the garden. I just love that. So continue along the path, or a path, another one here. We arrive at this European-style decorative fountain area, which is paved with stones. And here's another view. This is up near the swimming pool level, looking down at it. So this is the walkway adjacent to the pool. The pool's on the left, and on the right is another alcove, and it contains 3 large mosaics. And these depict a mythological scene showing Diana on the right, the Roman goddess of the hunt, and she's in a rage, transforming Actaeon on the left into a stag because he stumbled upon her and her attendants bathing. Actaeon was then hunted and killed by his own hounds, according to the story. So here's, if you walk through that hallway or that alcove, then you come to this stairway which leads upstairs. But on your other side is the pool. So here's some photos of that. And this is the swimming pool, obviously. And you can see you're up pretty high. You get kind of a panoramic view. So leading away from there, you see another pathway. Actually, this might be looking down at the rose garden. And then here's the entrance to the orangery and a few views of the orangery to close. So thank you for listening. Please visit the website. They have lots of information and resources. Thank you.